I may have gotten too many. This is too far. I bought some DVDs and I am going to haul them for you right now, so let's get into it. First we have Freeway, which is essentially a modern retelling of Little Red Riding Hood starring Reese Witherspoon and Kiefer Sutherland. Reese Witherspoon plays like a troubled teen who runs away from home, and she encounters Kiefer Sutherland's character, who is kind of like this really bad guy, and he's like the big bad wolf, and she ends up in jail, and it's basically just like her crazy wild journey. This one is weird, it's crazy and wacky and disturbing, and the performances from Reese and Kiefer Sutherland are just amazing. Then I picked up Darkness starring Anna Paquin, and you know what, I don't remember liking this one that much. And I don't really remember what it's about. I think it's about a family who moves into this home in the countryside and it's haunted, or like in the darkness creatures come out. So you know what, maybe it's time that I revisit it. Obviously I bought this, so I need to watch it. Then I picked up Daybreakers, which is an underrated vampire horror movie. It's about a futuristic world where vampires are basically in charge and humans are harvested for their blood, and I believe they're running out of blood, of human blood, and if vampires start drinking their own blood, they turn into like these zombies. I haven't seen this one in forever, but I'm excited to revisit it. Then I found this one, which I have a copy on VHS. It's an underrated 90s gem from Kevin Williamson. It is Teaching Mrs. Tingle, and I love this one because it stars Katie Holmes. I've loved her since Dawson's Creek. It was directed by Kevin Williamson. I love him. And it's about 3 teens who kidnap their miserable teacher in order to give themselves better grades. And then it just goes out of control from there. And I found this Lifetime original movie from my teenage years that I've never forgotten. It's called She's Too Young, and it's about like a STD outbreak that happens at this school, and it just looks into the lives of teenage girls and how essentially they get into some activities when they're far too young to deal with the consequences. And it's a really good Lifetime movie with great performances, so I'm really looking forward to revisiting it. Then I found Candyman, which is a 90s classic about this woman who is studying urban legends and myths for a college class, and she learns about Candyman. She starts seeing him and weird, crazy, unnatural stuff starts happening. I haven't watched this one in a while, but I just remember Candyman always has freaked me out since I was little, and just the thought of saying his name 3 times in the mirror and seeing him, it's terrifying. Then I finally found a copy of John Carpenter's The Thing. This is a classic, a winter classic in my opinion, and it's about a group of researchers in Antarctica who uncover an alien species that can essentially take shape or form of a human and inhabit them. It becomes a very terrifying, paranoia-filled horror movie where these guys have to figure out who's infected or who is the thing and who's not. One of the best horror movies of all time. Some incredible visual effects, some truly unforgettable, iconic horror moments, and Kurt Russell as McReady is one of the best characters of all time. Then I picked up an early 2000s horror gem, Valentine, which is about a group of girls who are best friends that are being essentially stalked by a former classmate from their childhood around Valentine's Day, and he wears a really cool baby doll mask. And you know what? I really like this one. I love the female cast, and Denise Richards is the standout in this. She's so just perfect as this Paige. I love her character, and I think this movie is underrated. Then I picked up VHS 85, which is the most recent entry in the VHS series. I was so stoked to find this there. It's a found footage horror movie, and this one is set in 1985, and this one has some unique stories. I think that they're all pretty decent watches. There's one in particular by Scott Derrickson that gives sinister vibes, and I think it's a lot of fun. I think you can stream this on Shudder. Then I found this duo film, Carnival of Souls and Horror Hotel. I love Carnival of Souls. It's a classic horror about a woman who, she ends up in this town and there's ghosts everywhere. Like, I'm underselling it there, but it's very eerie and just visually beautiful and just it's really cool. Horror Hotel, I've never seen, so I'm excited to check that out. Then I found Borderlands, which is a part of the After Dark 8 Films to Die For series, and this one is based on a true story, and it centers around a group of college guys who head to Mexico to celebrate spring break. One of them gets kidnapped by a satanic cult, and he is used in a sacrifice. Terrifying story. I haven't watched this one in forever, so I'm excited to have it in my collection and revisit it. Then I found M. Night Shyamalan's Old, which I actually have not seen yet, but I knew I had to have it in my collection for $2, almost $3. Why wouldn't I get it to add it to my collection? I'm excited to finally watch it. It's about a group of people who I think end up on this beach that has like really weird stuff that happens to it. Like I think people age rapidly and it just looks weird. So I need to watch it. Then I picked up Open Water, which is based on a true story about a couple who go scuba diving in like Australia, I believe, and their tour boat accidentally leaves them behind and they're stranded out in the middle of the ocean, which is terrifying to think of. And there's sharks infested, they're in shark infested waters, and then you watch as they try to survive this situation. Horrifying, absolutely horrifying. And the fact that it actually happened to a couple is even more terrifying. Then I picked up A Quiet Place, which is a horror movie about a world where there's creatures that are attracted to sound. So you essentially have to be quiet as hell in order to survive, and it follows this family who is trying to survive in this new world. Then I picked up a 90s horror gem that I feel like a lot of people for some reason shit on, but I remember really liking this movie when I was younger, and it is I Know What You Did Last Summer, okay? This is a classic. It's about a group of kids. It's based on a book by the same name, I believe, and it's about a group of teenagers who are having a little too much fun one night. They're drinking and driving. One of them hits somebody and kills them, and then I think the year later or a few months later, they start receiving mysterious messages and threats about somebody who knows what they did last summer and basically starts killing them off one by one. It's like a revenge horror story. And you know what? It's really good. Sarah Michelle Gellar is amazing in this, and she has one of the best chase scenes ever. Then I found Fright Night, the remake, starring Colin Farrell, which is a really good remake. And this is about a young boy who believes his next door neighbor is a vampire. And you know what? He is, okay? And Charlie, the boy next door, has to figure out how to stop this vampire before he kills him. Colin Farrell is so good as Jerry Dandridge. Question, which Jerry Dandridge is hotter to you? The Colin Farrell version or the Chris Sarandon version? Because both are pretty sexy. Lastly, we have Fear.com, which is another early 2000s horror gem. The little grunge horror aesthetic. This one is about a creepy website, I believe, that's haunted. I haven't watched it in forever. It's a live cam site that determines a person's deepest fear and then brings that fear brutal to life 48 hours later. I love that concept. It's like internet horror, and I want to revisit it. Okay, I always see this and I never pick it up, and then I was like, you know what, today's the day I'm gonna buy it. So there you have it. Those are all of the DVDs I picked up. Way too many. And then for books, I didn't pick up that many. I only picked up 4, which I'm proud of myself. Never resist a copy of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I don't know if I already have this one, but this one just spoke to me because it looks so used and loved by a child who owned it. And I love the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark collection, and I just needed to add it to mine. Then I found I'm Not Your Final Girl by Claire C. Holland. I think this is a revenge horror tale about a girl who is SA'd and then gets revenge on it. This seems like a poetry collection, actually. I thought this was a short story collection, but I believe it's a collection of poems on Final Girls. Then I was so excited to find this, The House That Horror Built by Christina Henry. It's one of my most anticipated reads of this year. And I believe it's about a mother or a woman who gets a job working for a famous horror movie director, and things go weird. Lastly, I found this beautiful copy of Stitches, which is a creepy short story collection with artwork by Junji Ito, so you know it's going to be disturbing. That is everything I picked up today at the used books superstore. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Let me know what movie or book from this haul you like best. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time. Bye.